Open section, please.
Okay. Motion to approve the personnel action list by trustee Jackson, second by trustee McLaughlin. Motion unanimously approved. Ariel De La Cerda, new hire, one-on-one, classified, Hoopa L. Jamie Snyder, new hire, FDCA, classified, Hoopa L. Coda Nicholson, new hire, one-on-one, A, classified, Hoopa L. Robin Stevenson, new hire, LP, classified, Hoopa L. Laura Harwood, new hire, elementary school counselor, certificated, Hoopa L. Rena Gibbons, new hire, secretary, library text, classified, Orleans. Tatiana Ray, classified sub, approved, Faith Kibbe, classified sub, and Blaise Shannon, certificated sub. And Faith Kibbe is actually a certificated sub. It's for all schools. The Anisha, so now we're going to have some reassignments. Anisha Montalvo from 7th grade to independent study teacher, certificated at Hoopa L. Latrell James transfer from 6th grade, certificated, Hoopa L to kindergarten, Trinity Valley. Wow, you stole them, Jacqueline. More. We have a reduction in hours for more Auroric teacher certificated Hoopa High. We have resignation, food service classified Hoopa High. Resignation principal certificated, Witchbeck and Jack Norton. And then we already said a reduction of hours for Annie O'Rourke. Bradley Hostler, coach, softball, walk-on, Hoopa High. And that concludes that.
Okay. Thank you. Next. That brings us to the information and discussion correspondence. We have the National Indian Education and IDA program update, presenter Lola Kadu.
Yeah.
Your workers.
Good evening. I'm Kadu Henry. I am the NIEA TCIS program manager for all the school districts here. I'm just doing a update on progress reports. We got through our first progress report in our data system, and we only have about 3% of our 147 kids we're servicing who have not progressed, and that's based on attendance and being involved in the program. So we're happy to report that. All of our site coordinators have been busy in the school helping do events at Al, Orleans, Witchbeck, Jack Norton, Trinity Valley. We only have 13 kids up in Trinity Valley because Casey Hostler just started. And so she wouldn't have been able to get 30 kids assessed right before school was out. So we only have down to 13 up there, but the other ones have. I was just advised that we are going, minimum students we will have next year will be 30, will be our minimum. That we don't know how much maximum yet that we're going to be serving, but I wanted to share. Some success stories that when I go on site to the local schools here, and I go into their offices at Trinity Elementary, there's a big wall mural for Casey already of students giving her things and students asking if they could come in there. Hoopa L with Star and Connie. They're constantly getting kids knocking on the door. They want to come in and they want to talk with them. And Heidi over at the high school, there's kids coming in there that aren't even in our program to hang out in there with her. And so that's a big part of what we're doing in the schools. And people say, well, what are you doing? I said, well, we're working with kids with attendance, some behavior concerns and some academic concerns, but we're not just doing our kids, other kids are coming in there because they want to be a part of something, and we're building direct relationships with kids. So we're we're creating a bond where kids feel safe. And they feel like they want to come to school. That's our goal, is create a good school climate with the principals. And I want to give a shout out to the principals that, they're just helping us along, you know, we're all new, learning everything, and we're just, we do leadership meetings and they meet with our staff and, they talk about the plans and where we're doing and what we're going in our activities. But our data system is gonna pick out a report, end of the year report, and you'll get that, and you're gonna see, you won't see the names of the students, but you're gonna see progress, how we've been tracking them. Daily, we have to put data into our system to track these students, and you will get a report at the end of the year of actually the progress each one of our kids, the 147 kids we're serving. Some of the kids are gonna exit out from the high school, but some of our kids will exit out of 8th grade in each school and go to the high school, and we'll probably pick them up because they haven't been with us very long. They started in January, February. Like I said, direct relationships is what we're doing right now. And being on the school, each school is got their own little thing going on, and it's really neat that these kids come up to you and they trust you. Even me, when I'm on campus, I'll have kids come running up to, hi, and give me a hug. And so that's what our staff is there to do, bridge those. But we're also meeting with the Yurok tribe, the Hupa tribe, the Karuk tribe, and we're building those relationships and trying to get them into the schools to build that bond, right? We need a bond. We need our communities involved in our schools, not just when we were at Trinity Valley, when they were having a hard times, get people going in to help. But we need parents to feel comfortable to go to the schools. We're getting parents engagement activities to get parents to the school. We're helping with planning events, and we're just starting. So I hope this next year we sit down this summer with the admin and we plan some really neat things to happen in the schools, more than what we're doing. We are starting to up our culture, having those events in the schools that are related to the kids and help them identify who they are and teach them some things on our culture. I really am hitting hard this year, and I really want to see the us doing the events for when you misbehave and you got to make payment. And so we got to bring that back in the school. But we did successfully with Colton's team get behavioral health to come over, and they're meeting with students at Hoopa L that are having some issues, and they're doing drum making right now. And I think they're on their second week, and they're doing drum making and talking circles. So I just want to give a shout out to what we're doing. I mean, there's a lot of other things we're doing. We've been here a long time, so I don't want to take up a lot of time for the people in the audience, but we got a bunch of books donated from the Indian Girls Club for all the students. We're getting donations from different departments to help us out with snacks and incentives for the kids. And Star and Connie are doing an attendance. Star here? Star, they're doing an activity where they're going to give out incentives for attendance, improving their attendance, and some little awards for their kids. But we hope to make a bigger impact next year when we start school. We should probably be serving probably around 200, I'm thinking. That's it.
Thank you.
So at the end of the year, we'll give it. And we'll have graphs and everything, and we'll divide by tribes, and you know, most of our students, I think we only have a couple of students that are non-native because we took all the kids at Jack Norton and Rich Pet. So if they weren't native, we just took them anyway. So, but we will be able to show you all sorts of different stats with that.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have the B results of the Board of Trustees straw vote for the calendar 2025-2026 calendar school year. The ASB quarterly report, I'm not sure what that is.
No idea. Carmi, do you know what that is?
The ASB quarterly report is information that we're supposed to provide to the board, and what it is their quarterly bank reconciliation, along with any like any sales that they do, any fundraising, so they're supposed to supply, because they're supposed to have that information, be able to see it, and you know what's happening with each ASB.
So if we don't, because I see there's no reconciliation or none, things non-submitted. How do we get follow-up to when that information is given?
It would then be followed up, if you'd like, we can put the date as to when we did receive it, if at the fourth quarter. Information, we can definitely put a date on there. But we do
Okay.
follow up requesting the information. We have a district finding guide, and it's in the guide every month. There's a timeline as to when we're supposed to receive it, so there is knowledge of that.
Okay. Okay, so we just approve this, but we don't necessarily, I mean, we're not approving the information in it because there's so many non-reconciliations and no information, so we're just receiving it.
Correct.
Okay. Annalise,
I have a question about 9B. Did you choose a calendar?
well, you didn't see it's in the packet.
So which one?
It should be in the packet. Dana, do you?
It should be.
So the one in the packet starting,
Right there, Tom.
yeah.
Page 8.
Nine also.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I do as well.
I'm sorry, I thought you already spoke on that issue.
No,
I don't,
9B on it.
9B on it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Kim. Annalise, are you finished?
Yes.
Okay. Kimberly Moon?
Okay, so I wanted to ask, so at the April board meeting, when we were there, you said, Ms. Lane is not here, so we're gonna table it. Which I agreed to because you didn't want public input at that time, you wanted her here, and I agreed to that. But it seems that you did not put it back on the agenda for public input, and I feel like I haven't had a chance to say what I wanted to say about each calendar, so you guys know why it was important that we chose that particular calendar in the way that it was presented to you. So I would like that opportunity for you to put it back on the June agenda, so we can come back and talk about the calendar.
I don't have a problem doing that, but I think you did speak on.
I did not
calendar.
fully get to speak
Okay.
on it, because you said, I really would want, I want to hear what you have to say, but I want Ms. Lane to be here, and I understood that and I
Okay.
respected that.
Okay, well, we have no problem pulling that and putting it on the next agenda then.
Thank you.
We'll pull the struggle for the school calendar. Dana. And we have the sunshine report there for the Climate Trinity Teachers Association. And we have, and that's it. So we'll go on to and we pull that, we will, oh,
Okay.
you don't have a yellow pad for that. Go ahead.
But you named me in here, so I figured I'd do it. Well, Dave and I are sitting here and in lack of acting superintendent, we want to know, who do we contact now that it's presented to the public and adopted by the board? Who do we contact to begin negotiation and bargaining with?
To our superintendent.
I have,
Well, we haven't approved it yet.
okay. Should I CC anybody else or just Jennifer?
Just Jennifer is fine and Dana will send it out.
Okay,
So,
and yes,
so it's not.
yeah,
It's not.
okay.
So,
Yeah, we just like to calendar them since we're getting to
Yeah,
the end of
no,
the year.
that would be great if we could get calendaring as soon as possible.
Awesome. And
Okay.
I just want you guys to know that the contract has not been ratified yet, even though we've been trying for 2 years. So that's first on the list. I know it's not in the sunshine, but that is something that it's still not resolved.
Does it need to be in the sunshine?
I don't.
No, it's
believe so.
unresolved.
It's just unresolved. But I want you to know that we're still working under the 2018 contract, even though we have a 2019, 2022 contract that we believe is ready to go.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds great to us. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we'll go to move to the consent agenda and we have approval of several board meeting minutes. And the commercial warrants for March 2025 and April 2025. Now, did you want to pull those for your questions or did you want to ask a couple questions before we receive? Oh, and we added, yes. The field trip for it, yes. and field trip for Annie O'Rourke and her CSF. Did you want to?
Questions, is that okay? Say ask.
Marmy, do you mind answering just a couple of questions, please, on the warrants? Sure.
I'm just curious, on the Bank of New York, Mellon, it says trustee fees? What is
Yes, that's a fee that we have to pay for our COPs.
for
That's a
what?
yearly, what's the amount?
Like 3,000 something.
Yes, it's a trustee fee which the Bank of Mellon invoices us to maintain our COP.
Okay, it's just like a fee for them. It's not trustees.
No.
Thing. I was like, okay. The other one was, do we pay the Yurok tribe $5,074 a month? Or is that,
What's the other
I
one?
look on it.
Because we have a couple.
yeah, it's a transportation.
For the busing.
Correct.
Is that how much it is a month? I just was wondering if it is it?
We just got invoiced from that because as you may be aware, you've not seen them on our commercial warrants.
So this is more than a month?
It would be more than.
Oh, okay, I
It's
just, that
not
was
much.
just my question, if it was a month thing. And then Arcata High School registration,
What's the amount?
like $575,
That's probably an entry fee for one of the athletic.
the athletic type stuff. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. I think that's like, going about. Tuition to Sonoma County off of the bed for 12,000.
That's for BITSA.
That's a, okay, thank you.
Okay, do you have any public comment on the consent agenda items?
I have one, So I wanted to ask you if we could get the others to please explain to us a little bit more about when you were talking about significant risks for person stories.
Well, this isn't the consent agenda item.
Is it not the audit on 11A?
No, we're on the consent agenda. We're still before that.
Oh, I thought you were doing 11. I'm sorry, apologies.
That's okay.
Oh, is it really?
Probably, is it on the high school? You probably ask Polly.
Yeah, is it normal to have per diem on an ASB stuff? Is that normal?
Army, do you know? Scott, you can probably answer that. It's his at ASB.
It happens so rarely, I don't know if I can even call it normal, but
What
so,
is it?
so if you're referring to the per diem for the trip to Reno, I don't think there was any other trips that had any per diem to them.
I
To
don't
my
know, it was
recollection.
a couple different people.
Miss Jones and probably Doug to Reno, I think.
Benny was
When
fine.
I went to the athletic directors conference. That's the only time I recall seeing any per diem that was associated with the ASB.
Yeah, Benny was one of them and
It wasn't that.
Was it travel for the students? Sometimes the ASB accounts pay for the students to have lunch to eat, but that's per diem.
Okay.
So
Army,
So the per diem should not be for adults. The per diem should only be for students because it is the student body account. And so that's in the ASB manual that the board has adopted. But
So maybe it's,
yeah.
it's him paying for all the kids is what you're saying, and then,
I know that money has been extracted from
Okay.
ASB accounts to pay for kids lunches and or dinners on trips, overnight trips.
okay,
So if that's the one you're referring to.
I don't know. I'm
is there
just
any,
curious.
is there any way that we can get a better description of those, in the ASB, because there are several like that are really hard to understand what they're for.
And the deposits,
And there's no
there's
deposit.
no deposits, it's just checks.
I think
The only request was for the check register because those are the commercial ones. I do know that with Trinity Valley, they provided all the information to you all. So if you'd like us to get that information, we can certainly request that from the school site to include all that information. But at the time, it was only for the check register for their warrants.
Okay, I just was, it's just helpful, like if you have a fundraiser You have the check for the fundraiser, but you don't have how much did they make on the fundraiser? Was it profitable or anything like that? So that's the only reason I'm asking.
And it would be really helpful if everybody used the same system.
It's not a deal for
We've
everybody.
got, I mean, you know, cause like I have, like, I hate to brag, Jacqueline, but Trinity Valley has, their system is really, really clean and nice. And it shows incoming, outgoing. It could use a little better description, but it's all laid out there and it's really nice, clean and easy to read. And it would be really nice if everybody did some type of the same style, so we look at uniform, you know, reports. But so we'll get updates on these reports and, okay, thank you.
High school has got, in all fairness, the high school has a lot more money.
Yeah,
coming through
and a
this
lot-
stuff, and a lot more complicated
Entries.
entries, yes. Clubs and different things, so.
Okay, and on the minutes, any other comments on the consent agenda? I thought I might have saw one hand go up, no? Okay, I'd like to do the motion for the minutes with edits, if that's okay. So do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda? Including the field trip that we added with, and with edits to the minute. I have a motion made by trustee McLaughlin, seconded by trustee Bray to approve the consent agenda items with edits to the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none? Approved. We have our action items. We have approval of the 2023-2024 audit. It's actually approved receiving it, accepting it and receiving the audit. Do I have, Kim?
Yeah, I was just wondering if we could get the auditor to please explain to us what it means under significant risk in the 5-page report that we were given in the summary. When it says pension liability and it talks about the CalSTRS and CalPERS in there. Could you explain to us why it is a significant risk?
Are you asking us to explain what the auditor said, or do you want us to have the auditor send you a letter of explanation?
Either or, I'd be satisfied with both.
Well, from our understanding of the auditor, that it's language they put in every audit letter that explains that where there could be risk, this and that. It's just kind of like a part of a template letter. We did not have any findings having to do with that paragraph in the, so go ahead, trustee.
Also, what I understood was that information was coming from the county or the state. I'm not sure which, but that information wasn't derived here, it was derived somewhere else. So part of that risk was if the information didn't come from here, it was based on what the information that was received. That's what I understood.
Okay,
But I actually think because it affects everybody so greatly, I think it would be very nice if the auditor would clarify that and send that letter to you.
yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Do I have any other public comment on 11A?
I didn't submit
Was it on 11A?
no, I
Because
did
don't-
submit on that, but I would like to recess the question.
Yeah, you didn't. Go ahead.
Thank you. Did you discuss the audit in closed session with the auditor, the woman there?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to accept the audit?
I'll move to accept that.
Who seconded? I have a motion made by trustee Colgrove, seconded by trustee Kelly to approve accepting the 2023-2024 audit. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none? Accepting the audit is approved. 11B, approval of the 2023-2024 audit corrective actions. Do I have any comments on 11B?
Right stuff, but. It involves. Percents.
Do I hear a motion to accept the corrections?
Didn't we talk about?
Well, the corrections have already gone because they released it. I mean, we can talk about it another time, but it's already in there. We're just accepting that we received the paperwork. Do I hear a motion?
We'll make them.
I have a motion made by trustee Jackson, seconded by trustee Colgrove to accept the audit corrections for 2023-2024 year. All in favor? Any opposed? So hearing one opposition, motion is approved. Okay, did you get the vote, Dana?
Was it Frank? Frank, was it you? I didn't hear.
No, it was Terry.
Terry, okay.
We move to 11C, approval of the Witch Tank and distribution project easement. Now that's the paperwork that we received. Dana? Can you get me what I don't see it here? Did everybody look at the memo? I know it came late.
Oh, this, right?
Yes. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're redoing the water line, and this is they're asking for an easement to use our easement. Can I just come in front of you guys for just a second? Called Mike Searcy from the Bureau of Price Planning Department, so I could get a good explanation. So this is the Witch Tech School. And this right here, you know how you get up there, up that road, there's that Y. Well, our easement comes from here, can you see? Up to just past the building. It's just a very short easement, goes in front of the Witch Tech School. Well, they propose they're gonna put in new water lines, they're gonna put a fire hydrant about here. And they're hoping to do work, so did y'all see that? Did you guys, anybody want to see? Our easement goes from here up in front of Witch Tech School up to about here, and they're gonna put a fire hydrant there, but they're gonna redo all the water lines clear up to a big new water tank up above the school site. It's a lot, yeah, it's a huge project, and they're doing all over out there, not just here. So we need a motion to approve letting them use our easement.
I mean, this is gonna benefit. the building.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes, well, it's gonna, it's gonna do all new, water pipings, and it's gonna bring, water, fire suppression right to the site. And better, flow. It's a good project.
Quick question. Are they also gonna take care of like the issue of the water that goes under the building and out into the field?
I doubt it. That's not their
Although it
project.
could become worse for them.
I don't know. Their project is just that they're redoing the water lines. I mean, if they're,
There's just a lot of water that runs under that building and all the way into the field. So
Right.
something to think about.
Yeah, well, they may, if they find it or need to address it, I'm sure that they will in their project. Motion made by trustee Colgrove. Actually, Terry's. Oh. I was looking at her. Motion by trustee Bray, seconded by trustee Colgrove to approve the Witch Tech tank and distribution project easement. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none? Motion is approved. That brings us down to the approval of the Hoopa Valley High School accountability report. The annual report provides information about a school's performance and characteristics designed for parents and the public. Did I have anyone who wanted to speak on this issue? I don't have a yellow or orange. Scotty, did you have?
There was not much to report aside from the data had been updated and contact information and staff had updated and it was resubmitted for approval.
Okay, it says by February of each year. Is this going to be a finding in anything? Because we didn't have it done in time. Any questions from the board regarding this? Any community comments? Do I hear a motion? A motion we accept the Hoopa Valley High School accountability report. Second. I have a motion made by trustee McLaughlin, seconded by trustee Gray to approve the Hoopa Valley High School accountability report. All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none? Motion is approved. 11E, final action on resolution 2025-5. Decision not to reemploy certificated employees for the 2025-2026 school year. And that's a resolution, correct?
Correct, and that is, it's attachment A that we just got and I handed it out. It's, Annie Award Mort. It's just reduction in her average and average.
Oh, it's the reduction.
Do I hear a community comment on this item? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion with those there.
That's the only. Yeah, that was on the case.
Okay.
She said that. Leave it on. Leave it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can add it together. You can add it, that was only. It's up to you. Simply on the book, just adding things.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
It's just.
Yeah, we can have us
just. Rolling.
But we're not.
That's a good.
Is everyone? Right, I have a motion made by, right? You're okay with it still? Yeah, I think we're fine, right? So a motion made by trustee Grace.
Yeah, I know.
What we're adding?
No, we're not adding.
We're not adding.
We're not, just this one. Yeah, we're just,
Okay.
it's just this one. Just, seconded by trustee Kelly. To approve final action on resolution 2025-5. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is approved. 11F, final action on resolution 2025-6. And decision not to reemploy classified employees. Is this one we're pulling data?
You're pulling off, you're rescinding it.
We're yeah, we're rescinding the entire, so we don't have to have an motion on it.
That means outreach. That means everybody on this list has been rescinded.
Next, we have 11G is the final act, the Cal Poly Humboldt Memorandum of Understanding for Student Teaching, Observation, or Field Work at Klamath Trinity Joint Unified School District sites. Do we have any community comment on this item? None. Do I hear a motion? I have a motion made by trustee Ray, seconded by trustee McLaughlin to approve the Cal Poly Humboldt Memorandum of Understanding for Student Teaching, Observation, or Field Work at Klamath Trinity Joint Unified School District. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion is approved. Action 11H, approval of the revised superintendent's job description. And did we have a couple of additions? I wanted to add other duties as assigned as number 15 on under essential duties and responsibilities, if that's okay. And Leslie, did you have a change that you wanted to add? No, I thought we discussed it. Okay. Okay, so I'd like to get a motion to approve this revised job description with the added edit that I added. And is there any community comment on this item? Who's first? Go ahead,
I
Kimberly.
have a quick question. Is it available on the table over there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Not the job description.
That's what I'm asking.
Although we can make copies and send it out tomorrow for everybody if that would help.
That is lovely. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and they'll have an addition. Hopefully the edit will be made also. Who was next?
Yeah, I had a card, on High School Grove.
Oh, I'm sorry, Annalise. You do on 11H too. I apologize. Go ahead.
So I had a similar question just about what was in the job description. I apologize, I wasn't able to make the special meeting, but I was watching the YouTube. I know several things were talked about and added, but I know it's different than what is currently flying. And given that it's not on the table, I was curious to know what is in the current, what's being changed, what's being added to the job description. I hear you're also talking about other edits.
You can have mine. You can have mine.
I would love to see one.
And and I already wrote on it other duties as assigned at the bottom, so this is pretty much the final. I did see a couple periods that needed to be put in.
I got it.
And Fred said, if you're looking at the HCOE, that it was flying, and even though we're doing edits, we were still to proceed with edits. He said, we're gonna make many changes. even
So
though
that
it's
will be
still
updated?
flying. Yeah.
So the main one will be updated, and has anyone applied under the current one?
You don't know for sure, but
Don't
did you
know.
want this on? the
Yes,
list?
please.
Dana, pictures of this over. And take a look on that last page where those couple of periods go. Make my that's in here and here, and then other duties as
The one that's flying is the old.
From like 2006.
That's not correct. Also the pay.
It's, what did they put it, what did you change that though, right?
Going to.
Yeah. Right.
Negotiable. It was like competitive and something. Yeah, maybe go.
Thank you.
Any other?
I have a couple other
Oh, go ahead.
questions. So related, but not necessarily on the job description itself, just something I wanted to bring to your awareness. So as IPP chair, I also wanted to point out that the policy 410.12, American Indian Policies and Procedure, policy number 2, item number 4. It talks about the hiring process and specifically notes the hiring process of all district employees, including classified, certificated, administrative, and the superintendent, will provide an opportunity for tribal representatives on the interview committee and when there is a screening process. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm still a little confused on how the process is being handled with HCOE. But I would love to be involved as IPP chair, but also as a tribal representative. So do I contact you, Lori, or do I get in contact with Van Vleck?
I would get in contact with Dana and we'll keep in contact with you and let him know that, and what parts that you should be in the loop on, because we totally plan on doing that already. So
Okay, great.
we haven't forgotten. We're just in the very beginnings of planning the whole outline, so.
Okay.
So, and if you ever feel like you're not getting the information, something, sure, just email me.
Great.
That's fine.
Thank you.
And go
I
ahead.
don't know if this kind of goes with this part, and I figured that the meeting, last Friday was, a non-agenda item. Wherever that goes, it might help you, it might not. And what I would like to see, the board, get out of a superintendent, outside of the education and the experience, I think that goes without saying. But someone who could somehow demonstrate moral standards and ethics, which all leads to integrity for the position. I think that's essential. And that they would have the ability to unite the employees. I think there's a tremendous amount of discord. You need someone that's going to be able to bring this all together. I think having discord, and if it's not really dealt with soon, you're going to have an implosion here. You're going to lose good employees, and that's going to filter down to training our students. And I think that's essential. And then to reiterate what Annalise said, I'd like to see the board follow all hiring policies, advertising, interviewing, and hiring, and that includes the tribal representatives having a stake in this, and also following ed code and state code. Make yourself familiar with that if you would, please, and try to follow it. I don't believe it's been followed in recent past. So if you could put that into your hat, I think it'd be some great accomplishment for you. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion? To approve the superintendent's job description? Did I have anyone else want to speak? I don't, oh, I'm sorry, Lynn, I did see your.
You said you guys were doing a meeting with the community too before you did that,
We will.
but if you've already approved it, then what would be the point?
The point, though, we're doing the community meetings to talk about, when we have candidates and et cetera, et cetera. You were at the meeting when we went through this.
Yes. But I misunderstood. I thought you were gonna meet with the community about the job description too.
Oh, did we say that?
That was my understanding.
Oh.
I don't know.
Well, my understanding was we were gonna bring the candidates to the community.
Well, that too, I would hope.
Mhm.
But I mean, with the job description, if you already decided it, then would be, I guess, no point in talking community.
I think that might be a good idea to talk with the community, even though we have a job description,
we can
because
change it.
it's very broad too. But I would like for the community to have an opportunity to talk to board members so that we all understand what the community wants in the hiring process. Because I think that we all have ideas on what we think will be a good idea, but I think it might be more beneficial if we all sat down and talked about what we really would like to see.
Thank you.
I think we should do that.
Cause we can add and change on the job description. Any other comments? Thank you, Lynn. Do I hear a motion? No, we're gonna prove, we can still do all that, because we can change it, it's like a working, living document, we can change it and update, it only takes a minute to update it, so. But we need to keep it. I have a motion made by trustee Jackson, seconded by trustee McLaughlin, to approve the revised superintendent's job description with those edits. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none? Motion is approved. That brings us to 11I, approval of the 2025-2026 designation of California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, representatives to our sports league. And this is just adding another name to the list. Correct? Is Mr. Appleford still here? Well, that's my understanding, was we're adding Brittany Moore to the list to that organization. Do I have any community comment on this item? Do I hear a motion? Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion made by trustee Kelly, seconded by trustee Gray, to approve the 2025-2026 designation of the California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, representatives to our sports league. All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, approved. Brings us down to action 11J, approve the renewal of the National Indian Education Association, NIEA contract for 2025-2026 in the amount of $669,074.47 paid from the community school grant.
I have a question. So with the community schools grant, are you talking about the $5.62 million that we got? That this district received, is that where this money is coming from? Is that the same community schools grant? So, I know we had $200,000 for implementation. But as far as I understand the grant, you have to have a committee formed in order to spend the grant. Like you have to have a needs assessment and other things. So it seems like we're doing it a little out of order. So is that your understanding? That you also have to have a plan on how to spend this money? You have to have stakeholders, you have to community input, you have to have classified TSEA, you have to have parents, you have to have appointees, you have to have principals. So if we're spending money out of this grant and we're not actually following the flow of how the grant's supposed to go.
Well, I believe that's what this entire document is.
Well, you had 200, well, you're hiring NIEA. That had to be approved and by the community. You didn't do a needs assessment yet. You don't even know what the needs are from the community. You don't know what needs are for parents or for the students. So I'm asking you, are we doing this correctly or are we jumping ahead without actually getting stakeholder input and following the plan?
Well, I believe that we have a plan and are following it, but if you have questions about that, we can always, talk to Jennifer and give you an answer.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have a demand bargain on this issue because you are supposed to have CSEA input, KTTA input, as well as all the other stakeholders involved.
Lace.
So I know there was some change from when it was initially brought to the table for discussion and some of the tribes had input. Because the school district had received the grant and then we're contracting with NIEA to then implement the grant. And I know the initial conversation was to hire staff as KT staff. And then that changed. And then I was wondering how the money was shifting. So is all this money then to then have NIEA implement the grant and run those committees and things. Because I remember the conversation changed from the school hiring employees to then all of them becoming NIEA employees. So I think that's where it's different. I don't know how that change was made, but I know that was the difference between them becoming KT employees versus NIEA employees. And in terms of a committee, I'm also on the TCIS committee, like the overall board for TCIS. More than just being here, but like the overall program, like the national level program. So I think that is kind of the board they're using to oversee it, the grant from TCIS and NIEA, which is separate from it living within the district. But I guess I'm confused as to why, like how the payments are being made still. Are they like annual payments to NIEA and it's just only this one payment to NIEA? Or does the district also hold other funds and that NIEA does some of it? I don't know if that's a Scotty question.
Did he leave?
Because I know he's affiliated with implementing the grant at the district level. But I guess my question is what that means, because my understanding was NIEA was doing all of it. So does the school district still hold all of the money and it's just a one annual payment for the remaining years?
Yes.
Was that good? Does that answer your question, Kimberly?
So NIA is implementing the grant for you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so. They're gonna form their own committee and they're gonna. Do I bargain with them or do I bargain with you? I should bargain with you, right? It should be in our CBA.
But I think
Or MOU.
that's how they're getting around it is by going through NIEA and completely out of the district.
How is that compliant?
I don't know that answer to that question.
Could you look into that?
Yes, I would be
Because my
happy to look
understanding
into
is
that.
that CSEA, KTTA should have input into this and should be members of the committee.
It was a $5 million grant and 1 million went to NIEA to then implement the grant.
Which, okay, but I still don't understand why we are spending the money without having to leave at first. But I get it, I understand we need somebody to run it. But I'll wait for your answer.
Well, my concern is that we're approving
Yeah.
year 3.
Yeah, it's already here.
So why continue to make a mistake if they made a mistake?
Well, because we don't think it's a mistake, and we could work together to help clear that up for her, Annalise, which is mine. Later, not tonight.
Which I don't know if I have much information beyond what I shared.
But I mean, as an oversight committee, you guys should be able to answer this question of whether we're following this right. Like they report to you. And you should be able to answer my question about if we're following the process right and we're doing it correctly, because I have a right as unit member to be on the commission. Everybody else, the other 70 members have a right to be appointed, and we're not appointed, and you're making decisions without stakeholder input, and we're not following the grant. And I really don't want to jeopardize the grant. I don't. I would love
No,
to-
I get it, and I wish Scotty were still here so we could, because he's probably the main one to answer that question. I'm happy to pull it until we get the answers. I mean, I'm happy to do that. We're running late and he's already left, and I was hoping that he was still here when this item came up. So we'll just pull it and get you those answers, Kim, because that's no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Retired super.
So she's retired. Is she retired? If her board report says she's retired?
Oh, she's not retired yet. She's retired as of June 30th. She's just ill tonight.
No, it just said the board report retired.
I know, I don't know if that's half joking or. She's
I'm
not
joking
retired.
in your board report.
You just joke. I don't know why she put it that way, because she's not retired till June 30th, so.
But
So
you did accept the resignation, right?
oh, yeah.
Okay. I thought-
So maybe that's why she's a joke. Action, okay, we're on 11K, approval of the ASB Associated Student Body commercial warrants through April 2025 for Trinity Valley, Hoopa Elementary, Hoopa High, and Orleans Elementary. It's going, I don't know. No, this is like this is the one I think you had the questions on. I had a lot of questions on it. Why does everyone use a different format? This is the one you had. So no deposits. Yeah, no deposits. You know, when do we have to? Tonight, or can we get back there? Is this time sensitive? Pardon me? No. Because I'd like to get more clarification. When you, I know you had several questions, so I'm gonna go ahead and we'll table this item, Dana, to the next one, and and request clarification on the report. And whoever. Right. Wasn't my question for mine, and it has the most extensive, but then I have parts of it that were copied off that aren't showing. Is that okay with everyone? That leaves us, we have public comment on non-agenda items. Karen Cole.
Good evening. My name is Karen Cole. I have been working in this district for the past 10 years, first as a teacher and now as principal at Orleans Elementary School. I have been a part of the admin team now for 6 years. I grew up on Karuk ancestral land and have lived in this area for the majority of my life. My 2 children are a product of our district. They attended Hoopa Valley Elementary, Orleans Elementary, and Hoopa Valley High School, where my husband is a teacher. Yesterday, I learned that my name was placed on a sign displayed in 2 public places in Hoopa that called for my removal from this district. The sign insinuated that I was associated with systemic racism. I find these allegations deeply troubling. Not only are they untrue, but they are damaging to my reputation. They risk impeding my ability to perform my job, and they bring a threat of real harm to my family, including my youngest child, who is currently enrolled as a student in the district. Fortunately, I'm confident that the message on the signs, or on both of the signs, does not reflect the feelings of the students, families, or staff that I work with. However, given the timing of this attack on my character, I cannot help but feel that this is done in retaliation for me signing the vote of no confidence presented to the Board of Trustees on April 9th. If this is true, it is a blatant example of the hostile work environment I, along with many of my colleagues, have sought to bring to your attention. I recognize that systemic racism exists in our country. While I don't consider myself to be a racist, I acknowledge that I am not perfect. If anyone who knows me feels that my actions are motivated by racist ideas or practices, then they are welcome to contact me or my supervisor to share their concerns. But libel is a serious offense and one which has no place in our community. I respectfully request that whomever is responsible for these signs remove them and consider the consequences of making such serious accusations in a public and in an anonymous way. I also hope that the members of this school board and the superintendent seriously consider these public attacks against employees of the district when deciding how to respond to the votes of no confidence recently presented to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Clarissa Reedon.
Yeah.
Mine's kind of a follow-up to hers. I am Clarissa Reedon. I am the 5th through 8th grade teacher at Orleans Elementary. I have been working as a teacher there for 2 years, and I worked on and off there all throughout my college career. So about 7 years-ish. And I'm here today to speak on the behalf of my site administrator, Karen Cole. Over the weekend, there was a poster, we all know what it says, and it mentions a group of people, and there is one commonality in all those people. However, it is not that they are racist. I'll let you all infer what that commonality is. I cannot speak to all of those people, even though I know enough about them to say that they are kind, hardworking, and honest people in our district. I can speak to Karen's character. And as the only Native American teacher on my site, I think that my opinion holds a little more weight than people who spend 0 time in our school, in our community. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. Karen is probably one of the hardest working people in our district. She is there early in the morning and sometimes as late as 10 o'clock at night. Not to mention the overwhelming success that our school has had over the past few years would not be possible without her. Sorry. Here are some examples. We have received a gold status through PBIS. Our test scores are higher than they have ever been. And 46% of our students were proficient in English language arts last year. Our Native American students increased their test scores by 8.4 points and performed 28 points better than other Native American youth statewide. Numbers don't lie. Sorry, guys, numbers don't lie, and these numbers prove that Native American students at our school don't feel the said racism that Karen supposedly embodies. I have known her and worked closely with her for probably around 7 years now, and I can say that she genuinely wants the best for those around her, especially our students. I cannot say the same for the people who are responsible for that sign. When I come to these board meetings and I see certain individuals talk to her in a way that my 7th and 8th graders would get in trouble for, I lose hope in this district. When I see signs in our community promoting false claims about good people, I lose hope in our district. These kids see those things too, and guess what? They lose hope in our district. We cannot give our children who struggle with so many things already more reasons to lose hope. Their resilience, and honestly, our own, can only be stretched so far before people begin to give up. The division among everyone must come to an end if we want our schools, students, staff to be successful. The vendettas must end, people must do their jobs and be held accountable when they make mistakes. This degree of slander is unacceptable and I won't sit silently. Please leave my administrator alone so she can worry about her job, that she is good at, by the way, and not gossip. Posting false signs in our community does not help our students or communities, and that should be everybody's goal.
Thank you, thank you. Ms. Bosso.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Sue Grove, and I'd like to address the board since this is a public comment. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would like to put it on record, this statement that I'm gonna present to you guys. I would like to formally address my concern regarding the recent denial of my coaching application. Don't like to do which I believe was handled in a direct violation of my employee contract standards as a qualified professional of years of experience and successful coaching record that I'm very proud of. I do have the highest amounts of NCS coaching under my belt, like championships. I don't say that in a cocky manner, I say that in a very honored manner. I have every right to be considered fairly and consistently under the policies outlined in our district employees' contracts. Something that we are obligated to oblige by, right? Despite a clean record and a strong qualification, I was denied without valid justification. This inconsistency is not only unfair, it is a breach of
ethical, and the contract's obligations. I have a proven track record of success in coaching softball. Under my leadership, student athletes have grown both on and off the field. To this day, since I started, I was very young, but I'm invited to weddings. I'm invited to birthday parties of their children, you know, like I am a part of their family to this day. Young women that I might have been a little bit of ignorance because I was young, but I didn't realize the importance that my relationship was going to be for their future, or how important I would be to them. My teams have always competed with strength and integrity, and my coaching philosophy has always been centered around discipline, empowerment, and long-term personal growth. These outcomes are not by accident. They are a result of hard work, accountability, and genuine investment in the youth development. I am proud to say, as a coach for KT, I have been honored to coach multiple NCS championship teams. More importantly, the students themselves have spoken on their own initiative. They wrote and submitted a letter asking the district to retain me as their coach. I don't know if you guys understand, like, coaching, it's hard. It's not easy. You're not trained. You come in this district, there's no evaluation, there's no orientation, you just come in, bam. I know you guys have athletic directors, they're not trained either. There's a coach's handbook, but there's not oh, this family just, this child just lost a parent during halfway through the season. How do you deal with those things, right? I was very honored that they wrote this letter. I didn't expect it, but they were quickly denied. And I'm not sure if you guys, like I said, understand sports, but baseball and softball should have a varsity or a head coach and an assistant coach. Why? Because you have to have a third base coach and a first base coach. What? And anyways, our students are being failed. Our athletes are being failed. My children themselves have been very successful. That's because I pushed for them. It wasn't because of Hoopa High School got them this way, other than the support of staff that at the school that helped them succeed in life. But you have to be, these kids are very strong and athletic, they're smart, but if they don't have somebody to be like, hey, you can go here, you can do this, you can go to the next level, but here's how, they're not going to get there. So their voices are the most direct reflection of my impact to them. Then I urge the board not to ignore what they say about the relationships I have built and the trust I have earned. I'm not asking for special treatment. I am asking for the board to honor the same contract standards for all employees without bias, without politics, and with transparency. At the point I was, would like to have had, it to be corrected. And just so you know, I was told by the admin at the high school, you're good to go, right? All your paperwork's good to go. We would like to hire you. Okay, I was good to go. Then I got denied later. Anyways, we had traveled and played 2 games and we won both of them. And I did have people say, oh, I didn't know we had a JV softball program. We've always had a JV softball program. There should be 2 coaches for the JV, 2 coaches for the high school. That's saying a lot for my program and the success that I've had in this community because people want to be a part of it. It's one of the biggest sports. We may not make the most money because we don't have somebody sitting there and, charging people to come in, but we do get a large crowd and it's a very growing sport here in this community. I just like you guys to take into consideration a small community like ours, providing youth multiple healthy, engaging activities isn't just a benefit, it's necessity. Our young people are growing up in an environment with limited resources and even fewer opportunities, which makes our collective responsibility to ensure they have safe, structured, and empowering options to explore their interests and talents. When we invest in a wide range of youth activities, sports, arts, culture programs, leadership, development, wellness, we're not just keeping them busy, we're building their confidence, strengthening their mental and physical health, preventing risky behaviors, which our risky behaviors are really high right now, and giving them reason to stay connected to their community. These programs create a sense of purpose and belonging that can be life-changing, especially in areas where poverty, addiction, and generational trauma too often shape a child's path. Every person deserves a chance to discover who they are outside of survival by offering diverse, healthy outlets. We create a community that values youth not just as future adults, but as a contributor to leaders right now. It's not about charity, it's about equity, healing, and preparing the next generation to thrive. Lastly, it's important for me to raise serious concern that I believe may be affecting the integrity of a recent decision made by this board. It appears that the board's judgment is being influenced by an employee whose past conduct has already led to a vote of no confidence. A significant action that reflects this serious concern of staff and community members alike. There is a growing concern among many of us that some decisions are being made not in the best interest of students or the school community, but rather as parts of ongoing pattern of retaliation by this individual. This not only undermines fair process, but erodes trust in leadership and creates a harmful culture of fear and silence. I bring this forward not to accuse, but to ask for accountability and transparency. Our community, our staff, and most importantly, our students deserve decisions that are rooted in fairness, free from personal agendas, and guided solely by what's best for their success and well-being.
Kadu, Henry?
Hey, I'm again. As you know, I come to all the meetings because I have to. I just wanted to say that, as a community person, and I know most of the board, I know most of the people in the audience. It's really sad what's going on in the school district right now. I'm not biased here. People are on Facebook are attacking people that work in this school. People are getting on in there. The Lost Coast has a big old article on the school. I'm hearing it at these meetings. There's bullying going on. There's social media bullying going on. So I urge you to make a cease and desist to all people employed at the schools. It has to stop. If we had so much energy for every one of our kids that need us, that's going on right now, it would be awesome that all that energy that's being spent attacking and bullying. It's social media bullying. Whether you're hanging up a sign out here or you're going on Facebook. And one of the things I like about the Hoopa Valley Tribe, they have a social media policy. You can't go on there and talk about organizations or employees. And I heard you talk about that in the previous meeting about social media. There's a way to do this. There's mediations. You're all professionals. There's a way to get through this on both sides and listening, and not addressing it isn't helping anything, but it has to stop. And it makes our district look really bad. I have people that work in other places that see all this on social media and in the paper. They're going, what the heck? You work for over the school now? And I was like, no, I work for NIEA, but we're at the school. You know that. Come now, the kids are seeing this. The kids are reading the papers. They're reading it on social media, and they're seeing the signs hanging up in our community. It has to stop, and you have control of that. And I just urge you guys to help everybody here have a voice and stop all this, because like who said it earlier, it just keep going and going and going. And everybody's worked really hard to go to school and come here and teach. Everybody's worked hard in their experience working for this school, and nobody deserves to be attacked personally on social media or anything.
Yes, I thank you for that, because we brought in the auditor to try to help with this situation. There is an investigation like the vote of no confidence asked for, that our attorney is getting an investigator, and there has been some reply, and Jennifer, our superintendent, will be getting out to everybody about that as soon as she gets back. But everyone should know that we did do the investigation just like you asked, and we brought in the auditors just to clear everything up. So it's not like we're sitting here not doing anything. We are really trying, but things move slowly. And we haven't, so far we haven't found any findings. And that we just got it, and we're going with that. And Jennifer will be putting out a email or however she decides to do that to everyone when she gets back. And we just found out that the lawyer just got back to us this afternoon. Correct? Yesterday. So I want to say that we have one more speaker, Robert Anderson.
I noticed that the KTTA union report was not on the list of items.
None of the reports.
And so I would like just to summarize.
We apologize for that. The reports didn't make it on the agenda. We were so busy with the other things. It was inadvertent.
So I did ask union members for some positive feedback that I'd like to share with the board in summary. You have our report, I believe. Did you receive our reports? Did you receive the union reports? CSEA? Yes, May 7th. Yes.
Yes.
A lot's been said tonight, so I'm just going to be brief, and I'm not going to, repave roads that are already pretty smooth by now. I would like to express our gratitude to the board, seriously, because the decisions you make are going to be difficult, and they often require the gift of being able to listen to and respect multiple perspectives that compete with each other. But at the same time, you have this ability with your honesty and accountability and respect to set the tone in the district for everybody else that works under you. Personally, I would add that I've always seen leadership as an obligation. As a teacher, the leadership role that I have is to all of the students, not the ones with good grades, not the ones that showed up on time, not the ones that I knew their cousin, but all of them. And that in the next level up, if you're talking about a site supervisor, principal, that all the kids first, then all of the staff and other people that are working under. So that there's an obligation. The higher up your authority, the greater your obligation to other people. And that's an important and vital role. And I think that it's a difficult role at times. Teachers in the district, for that reason, would love to have you come over and visit our campuses. See education as it's done, ask questions. We believe that service to the children in our community is the purpose of education at every level. There's no point where you reach a point where the kids are no longer the focus of what we do as a school district. And that if you saw us and saw how we perform our roles, supporting the children, you'd understand our hearts, our experiences, and the needs that we have as our leaders. And we would also like to share a little bit about a couple teachers in our district who I polled our members. Who is somebody that is inspiring you? Who is somebody that you see? These are not people who are reporting themselves. This is somebody who was surprised that their coworker gave me their name and a little write-up. Starting with Marissa McClay. She teaches 6th grade and is successful in coming up with creative and fun ways to build a positive classroom environment. She understands that kids behave better when they feel safe and encouraged, and spends hours studying and experimenting with new ways to naturally engage the kids instead of coercing them. She is someone who sees the big picture and is supportive of other teachers to build a learning community and make the school stronger as a solid team player. She has the respect of many teachers at her side. Amy Broadcorp is one of our teachers who commutes from the coast. She has been teaching 18 years, the last 10 years at Trinity Valley Elementary. Like many of us, Amy chose to become a teacher because of the support and care she had as a student growing up. She loves her students and participating in a positive school community. When I asked her what inspires her each day, she said, "I continue to stay because of the joy I find in working with my students each day. Their curiosity, creativity, and resilience motivate me to keep me showing up and giving me my best." And as far as the rest of the report, like I said, much of this has been said before by other people, but I would say these are put together in the interest of an objective investigation into concerns that we have. This isn't about attacking anybody. This is why some efforts have been made to make it clear that we're not attacking people. But it's more about how we see a job as being functioning in a long term, not in an immediate sense, but as a long-term issue. And I appreciate hearing that you are taking some steps in this. This is the first we've heard of that, and that's really encouraging. And then lastly, on a personal note, I really don't have a problem being called a racist when somebody doesn't know me. They could call me a shoplifter. They could call me someone who picks my teeth with a nail. I don't know. It doesn't matter if they don't know me. I'm a little concerned about somebody who might listen and maybe have a view about me because of that. But really what bothers me is when a statement is made highlighting a select group of people and identifying them as systemic racism. And these are the people who had signed votes of no confidence to inform the board of problems that we saw happening in this district. Well, that is coercive and it is retributive, but it's also a grave insult to my Native coworkers. Because to say that this is systemic racism is to either say that no Native personnel signed any of these votes of no confidence, which is patently false, or to say that these people were less Indigenous the day they did that. And that's just deeply insulting. And that's about all I have to say about that. How dare they? Just really. Thank you.
Do I have anyone else who wants to?
I had an orange card. So I just wanted to ask you guys a clarifying question. Do you believe that I, as an employee of this district, participate in systemic racism? Frank, do you believe that I participate in systemic? Patty,
I have never even seen a hint of that.
Miss Martha? Miss Terry,
Absolutely not.
Miss Lori?
No, I want to make it clear, we didn't put the signs up.
I would like to know what you. Miss Dana? Okay, so I wanted to bring back up again the 360,000 COVID monies that we had. So first off, I want to know, did you know we had $360,000? And that it was sitting stagnant? Did you know that?
No, I was the one that brought the question to.
Okay, so do you know
About
what,
the COVID money?
yeah,
Or are you talking
that we
about
gave
the-
back? Yeah, do you know what we could spend that money on? Because I've been asking for 2 years now for a playground for TK at all sites. But I mean, if we're just giving money back, I'd like to, if we could have spent that money, I want you guys to think about that. If you have money sitting in pots and we have needs of children, if that was something we could have used, it really is just, it's just working. So I'm bringing that back to the top. Also, we have over $900,000 of ELOP money that we talked about. And the way I see it, we have a CFO, superintendent, ACES coordinator, and we have 7 of you. So 10 of you knew about this pot of money and it's sat stagnant for 2 years. We've had that money since, I don't know, 2020, 2021, when we first started getting that money. So I want to know, how is that possible that it was not on your radar for 24 months that we had this money? And that was my first thing. Secondly, are we giving that money back? Are we really giving it back? All of that 900 and something thousand
It's already
dollars.
done.
So I want you to question, how did this happen? And what are you gonna do in the future to prevent this from happening? Because and again, I reiterate, we just sold or gave back or forfeited, whatever you wanna call it, $1.25 million that belong to our children in the last 2 years. And I would like answers. I wanna know, what's your safeguard? What are you gonna do in the future? Because we have $5.62 million sitting in the pot right now, and from my perspective, we're not actually doing it the correct way, but that's from my understanding. I don't know what your understanding is, but I think you guys need to talk amongst yourself how this happened. And also question why we have a penalty of $249,000 because we have too many administrators. Like I said, it's a simple formula. All you had to do was put in the numbers. Granted, we had an absent superintendent, but whose responsibility it is to bring it to your attention when we don't have somebody in place like we don't right now? She's on break right now. And I get that, understand that. But what is your responsibility? And how can you safeguard that we are not in that position again? Because like I said, I could have spent $240,000 on several TK playgrounds throughout the district, but we didn't have any money. So far, we have not come up with money for that. But I want you to know that I could have spent that money for you guys very easily. And it belonged to the children. So now we're up to $1.5 million of money that belonged to children in the last 2 years that we have gave back or had a penalty for. So I just wanted to let that sink in. I really would like some answers to this because I really do not want to do this again. I don't want to go through this again. I don't want our children to be robbed again, which that's my word, robbed. That's my 3 minutes. Thank you.
Drowning dog.
Yeah, she's sounding well. I wanna piggyback a little bit off of what she's saying. Cause I've been in this district for a long time. I left and then I came back. And that playground has been there the entire time, which is fine, but parts of it don't work anymore. There's a lot of things that are going on. Those tires are dangerous. Well, I'm sorry, but people talk about, oh, I don't like the wood chips. I couldn't get a splinter out of the kids. I can't pull cancer out of a child. And those tires, they need to go. Our kids are black, our shoes are black. That needs to be changed completely. We're hurting our kids in there. It's not safe. They're rolling around, they bury themselves, they put them in their face. They are tires. They have chemicals on them. To the point where other places and other things don't even know what to do with their tire pile. So they cut them up and put them in their playground. It was bad for us to even like put our money into that. So when we're missing money like this and our kids are rolling around in filth, I want it fixed. We can get a nice, flat, rubbery playground that isn't pieces that come into their face, that isn't cut out of tires, that's safer. There's other choices we need to make, and our kids need that. Most of the stuff on the playground is starting to fall apart, bolts fall off. And then we just start taking parts off, we're like, oh, that doesn't exist anymore, so sorry, bye. And we took off the ice-seer recently, because it fell off. That's it, it's gone. The kids need something new. Some of the kids, some of the parents that are in here were probably on that equipment when they were in school. That's it, sorry.
Thank you. Let's have the income policies and procedures on these. Did you have anything you wanted to?
Or just my previous comment about the hiring and selection.
Okay. Tabucci, she handed out some paperwork, right?
You guys saved me for the last.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So I submitted my reports to you, but I also gave you an amended days of service for summer program, and then the new Indian policies and procedures, which were updated with our chair. We have a new chair, new secretary, and then some student members to our IPC. And I wanted to come before you guys to answer any questions, if you have any for me, because I do hear around about that questions come up, but nobody ever gives me a call. Nobody asks me questions that have to do with
I sent an email to you 3 months ago. Still
About-
haven't gotten them.
sorry, I'm sorry.
I made a phone call and an email, but
About what?
it's long past. But it doesn't matter anymore. I got the information I needed. So.
Okay. Any questions or?
So the program comparison overview, is that, like if ACES didn't do?
No, that was the last year that the district did a district-wide at every site.
Okay.
That was the cost of that program and the attendance to that program. And then compare it to the ACES summer program, which we currently run. That was the numbers for that is the first year that we did ACES summer program. And then the numbers for the district is the last year the district did summer school. And which was only a 4-hour program, which was, just academic based. 4 hours, Monday through Thursday. It wasn't a 5-weekday program. ACES summer program has to run for 9 hours every day. It has to be off, programming has to be offered for 9 hours. It's a requirement within the grant. And must be offered 5 days a week. So those were just the costs of serving 9.8 kids throughout the district for the entire summer school program.
We're talking about the 287,000, is that what you're talking about, the 287,000?
Yeah.
Is for just operating at Hoopa L?
No,
It
it was,
is operating across the district
yeah, it was that year.
That's,
of that year, I don't understand that, why do we have it?
21, 22, I believe.
It's actually not a comparative.
That's what I.
Comparisons and comparative. That during COVID.
Is this supposed to be?
It was the end of COVID.
The end of COVID.
And is there a reason we don't operate it across the district?
Just because of the result of the attendance of that and that the hours weren't being offered we don't have enough staff to staff every single site and we
Tried it?
we wouldn't be able to. They did do it that year. The 21-22 year. They didn't have any classified staff.
But they did do it. And we sent back way less money that year.
The 21-22.
Yeah, 21-22, we sent back 120,000, I think. 23-24 was went back almost 800,000.
I don't know why, I don't know about numbers. I don't know about I was given direction to develop a program and that's what I do. I develop a program that delivers 9 hours of service every single day to elementary school students because that's what the money pays for.
Karen, I have a clarifying question. Is the 9-hour requirement, is that with ELOP money or ACES money?
ELOP money.
So we do have a little bit of ELOP money that we're using this summer.
Yeah. So and then it's
With more than that we have.
Annalise?
and we're also are gonna be able to have the opportunity to amend our programming, but also CDE is going to be communicating with the district to see how we can fix that problem of what in the past, because when we first received the money, there was no timeline on that money. They never ever said within this amount of time, you're gonna have to send back that money or anything like that. They never said anything like that for a few, 2 years, 3 years. And then they said like, okay, now you have, a set amount of time to spend it. And I don't know, I am not a budget person. I don't know the specifics of this, what we spent and what we sent back. I did what my job was, and that was to develop a successful culturally relevant program. And my program has grown from 3 school classrooms to 4 and now 5. And I've also grown with, cultural people coming in and teaching my students, doing cultural projects and activities with them and offering language.
Annalise, I just wanted to point out that she is talking about after-school program and her after-school program duties. But she is also the Indian Ed director, and so she wears 2 hats. So my question is that position going to be flying next year? Is she going to be able to fully take on Indian Ed director 100%? Or are you still expecting her to do both jobs and duties?
Well, we're flying it now, correct, Dana? It's been being flown. It's been being flown. We're trying. The ACES.
Which is
So summer
separate
school,
and different from.
yeah,
the
summer
Indian Ed
school,
director.
summer school was it was a totally different
You have one more question.
Tricia,
I was just wondering if we could expect an MOU to hire classified staff.
So I never had to do an MOU because they're not permanent positions within the district. So they, we don't, there's not a permanent summer program that we can hire for, so we never had to have an MOU with CSEA.
so. Are you finished, Trish?
I was just gonna say, we previously did have an MOU.
That was with regular summer school.
Okay, I just-
Yeah.
Karen, I'm just curious to know how much ELOP money we still have in the district and when does it need to be spent by? That's my question for the board. And I don't need an answer right now, but that's my question.
We'll get that, and we have,
So
paperwork that we.
if you had an endless amount of money, you expand your program to the other site? Could you
Well-
develop a culturally relevant program to other
I-
sites
So
from June 30th? And could you,
No. I don't have enough language teachers. I don't have enough cultural advisors.
but you
and
have
I-
a model that could be used
Yeah,
at your
definitely,
site, right? So
definitely.
if you had the support of those principles and those added to do that, you would be able to expand. Could you,
So-
given an endless amount of money, could you expand to other sites?
So we don't operate with any administrators. We just, we're all classified. We have 12 classified LPs, and then we have 4 MTO classified staff members. We have I have a special ed teacher that partners with me every year, and she is a phenomenal teacher. She develops curriculum. She's there every single day. And then I have a special ed teacher who she teaches the special ed students that attend summer school. She has 2 aides, I believe, in her room, and then we've had only 1 language teacher, but this year we'll have 2.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Can I answer Karen's question? Because I have those numbers in my head.
Sure, if you do.
So, our ELOP this year was $866,000 and cents, not sure. And we've spent $158,000, so we have approximately $700,000 left of ELOP.
And when does it need to be spent by?
June
30.
70,600 spent and 3,000 encumbered.
So,
And then one thing I wanted to also address is that ELOP money cannot pay for 100% of any project or any improvements to our buildings, to our district, to our grounds. And so I know that part of it, that I looked into doing the playground at Hoopa L for our littles and for middle school. And I absolutely cannot do that. They said that we could only pay for a portion of it. If the sites were to come up with their own funds, I could absolutely contribute. I say and I shouldn't, because it's not, I have nothing to do with, I don't have the say so over this money, and I'm not I'm not the person that handles where the money goes and how we get it. I do submit to CDE. I did submit the ELOP plan, and I did submit to them all of my data. So I do that piece.
the ELOP is for, extended learning, so it's
Extended.
summer school, after school, before school.
Yeah, but we already have an after-school program in place. And so that would, if we were to have another after-school program, which I am in the middle of partnering with a couple of outside agencies to help them with their after-school program. And we can absolutely do that, but we already have one that exists within our district.
A couple of clarifying questions. So it's my understanding that it's an enrichment opportunity. So you can hire an art teacher, you can do archery, you can do gardening, other things like that, right?
Yeah, we do.
To supplement your program.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's one way we can fund it. The other thing is it says right here that you have a pupil to ratio of 1 to 20 of students unless it's
No.
working with TKK pupils, which has to be a 1 to 10.
Right, we don't operate like that for ELOP. We have 3 LPs in every single classroom.
My information is the staffing requirement.
What?
It's a staffing requirement. So are we following that?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're going above that. We have more in every classroom for summer program.
Okay, but I mean, okay, and that means that one teacher's dedicated to 10 students all the time.
No, a teacher?
An
aide,
person.
yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
And the other question I have is, I understand that when you hire a certificated person, there's a process to it, and I haven't seen that process being followed.
I don't, it's not in our plan to hire certificate.
But it's in our contract to do that.
Not for summer school, it is, but not for ACE's summer program.
If you hire anybody in our unit, you have to follow the contract. Same for closet plan.
Yeah.
So that's what I like you to do that this year to please advertise. And I have no doubt you're gonna get the same person because she's very qualified and she has the highest seniority, but so to.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I totally agree. I just wanna also make a statement that many times in the past that we have, you know, and it's not at every site, but many times in the past that we have done that, our teachers have stood us up and not shown up, leaving my people and my students without that activity or that time covered. And so that's kind of, you know, not for every site, but has happened. So I also have an agreement written up between, you know, teachers and ACEs saying you have an obligation. And that's just for ACEs, not for summer school. But yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Karen, I have two different questions. In your experience, given where we are now in the year, do you think that it is at all possible to write an additional plan? Not you, but somebody else, write an additional plan for some of this money and get that approved by?
So I am.
You know what I mean?
I'm actually in the process of doing that.
Okay.
Of including the Kaduk tribe, the Yurok tribe, Hoopla, and then outside of tribal, I'm working with the agency in Willow Creek. We're gonna try to offer services outside of our district ACES services and funding that.
Would you have a question on the funding? So is this current summer school will start with?
July 7th.
Okay, so is that funding from this year's ending at ELOP or the beginning new ELOP?
It's the beginning, and it's a lot more than that right there. That was
866.
866 is the same amount as this
year
before.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry, I'm chatty. Okay. Do we just have to write a plan and encumber that money by June 30th, or do we have to spend the money?
Yes,
by
you
June
can.
30th?
Well, there's 2 dates here, and not to be confusing the dates. There's June 30th of 2024, which is this year's money.
Yeah, so we have
Their plans on the new plan starting July 1.
So we have been in communication with our CDE people about you know, what can we do to fix this situation?
Yeah.
And so it's not, you know, a done deal.
23-20.
It's not.
Yeah.
So can the principals at the sites have a seat at the table to
Yeah.
advocate for our schools and what we need and contact other schools in the county that have spent money successfully and get ideas from them and make a plan for our schools in our district? Is there money available to us to do that? Can we have?
Yes, but we just have to be super, what we offer. We have to be very
Yeah.
careful about what we offer to outside of ACEs, because we already have that, program in our district, that's all.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't remember your name.
Look,
Go ahead, Clarissa.
Theo of for VITSA, I have to go observe other teachers in schools and blah blah blah. And recently I went to Burt Ranch, who got the same grant as us. I'm pretty sure.
Everybody kind of gets.
Yeah, thank you. So I might be wrong, but like she is like showing me their entire campus and she's showing me all this stuff. Oh, this grant got this grant got this grant got this grant got this. And like I'm like, wow, really? Like she's like, yeah, you guys get the same grant. Like I don't know what you're spending it on. So she's like showing us like stuff that maybe they found supplementary money to.
We can help, but we can't.
Yeah.
100% cover.
Okay.
I can't do that. I don't know why, but it's because regular day, our regular school calendar, regular day, would use it more than our summer program.
I'm wondering, like Karen said, I'm wondering if we can get like some like help from other people who are spending this grant better than us and like figure out how they did that. Like, how are they supplementing?
We're probably one of the largest ones. They don't have as large a grant to spend. We have a huge.
But they have really cool stuff that's bought with it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it's a program, like she's saying, you have to start a program with your own money and you can supplement it. You can't fund it.
Yeah.
You can only
That's not what
supplement
she's
it.
saying.
That's not what
though.
I'm
She's
saying,
asking
yeah.
if they can get advice on how to spend it. And if those programs
Well, how
work
they
out,
did
if we could
theirs.
put ours in, fit it in there too.
Yeah, like do the same thing. I'm trying to find somebody, yeah, like. Like I get how it's done, but we're not.
Of course.
The ratio, like, could you contribute 99%
No.
costs?
People, like, whatever amount of time that you offer your service out of the school year, break that down into percentage and that's how much we can contribute.
So forth.
So it's like I only operate, this year, we are extending to 30 days, but we are also looking at 10 more days of outdoor education, 10 days or 5 days before and 5 days after. So it would be actually a 40-day program.
And you're working with, who are you working with? Are you working with our superintendent on this, developing a plan, or you have a committee or?
I have a CDE advisor who helps me, and she helped me develop my plan that I have in place right now that is board approved.
So we need a plan then for the rest of the beginning of the school year, correct? Starts in September, all the way up into June.
Yeah, so I'm currently working on that because, and then, I can meet with all of the principals because I am hoping that I'm gonna pitch it to you guys before the new school year, because all of these agencies that I just spoke about is needing help. And I want to be able to help them because they are going to service students that may not like to attend ACEs, but would like to go and attend to other outside agencies. Yeah.
How much do we bring in for ACEs? What's the whole ACEs grant?
So the ACEs grant per year is like 267,000, something like that. It's 267,000 around. That's a ballpark figure.
So.
And that's different from ELOP.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is with the ELOP money,
There's two.
it's a great deal more money, right, the ELOP money.
Mhm.
So maybe we should be looking at focusing on allocating that.
Also, I also wanted to pitch. A lot of schools do before the regular day programming. So it would be so awesome if we could, offer that to our families to say like, oh, you gotta be at work at 8 o'clock. Well, we're opening at 7:30. We're open for, to receive your student at 7:30. The only struggle we're gonna have is staff. And that's our struggle all the time.
And you've had no problem with staff, as you reported before, once you paid $25 an hour. and
None.
stuff like that.
Nope, none. You show people that you appreciate them, that they are worth getting paid what they're worth, they'll show up for you. And
It's the same thing for teachers.
yes,
We can pay more for teachers, so
Mhm.
maybe and get them.
so I'm hoping that you'll pass my Indian policies and procedures tonight, so.
But we don't have, where is it?
I don't know.
It's not agendized.
Yeah, it's on your agenda. Yeah, it's B, Indian policies and procedures.
I don't have it on my agenda. That's on the public comment agenda for
Yeah, that's.
for
Oh.
the items and then the Indian policies and
Okay.
procedures. It's not on the action, so we
Oh,
don't
no.
have it.
When do
Okay.
you need it approved by?
I was hoping by the 20th.
The 20th of this month,
Yeah.
well, call Jennifer, where's the policy?
What is it that you're approving?
Well, we have to look at it more anyway, but we could, if it's time sensitive, we'll have to call a special meeting or something.
What,
I don't think it's time
What is it?
sensitive. I was just, yeah,
Will it
just
be,
double
can
check.
we do it in June then, but the,
Yeah.
or the.
so is it your policies and procedures?
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
that was already approved towards the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
no, these were, remember we edited them, right?
did we edit them at our last meeting? Because we did approve it earlier in the year.
We made edits at our
We
last,
did.
yeah,
We did.
okay. So yeah,
Yeah, because we'd
June,
like to see the edits.
Before we approve
Okay.
it.
Or we approve it.
so I just, if you have any questions or concerns, please ask me.
We will.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we in jeopardy of losing that 700,000?
We're gonna have this.
I can't hear, but.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, we had a question from the audience.
I was just wondering, are we in jeopardy of losing that 700,000 that we just got done talking about? We spent 100 and some thousand already. And there was 700,000 left over. And then next month, they're gonna, or whatever, they're gonna start a whole new grant. So what about that 700,000? Does it have to be spent before the new stuff takes effect? So what are you guys gonna do?
We're get 2 years to spend.
Yeah,
it.
we're
Not
working, not the June 30th.
We're working
on it. Leave me.
But why does it get left so late and who's responsible?
That's the accountability, those are, that's what we got, that's what we're working on right
But
now.
as a person in this community, you guys are where the buck stops.
Exactly.
So if we lose it, it's on you guys, not anybody else but you guys. And if you're allowing it to wait till the last minute, then that's on you guys, and that's your loss to the kids. Can't blame anybody else when you know that fact.
Yes, thank you. Okay, appreciate it. We're gonna have to go into closed session real quick. I think we, I don't know. Okay, we've got to look at that one resolution again.
Always ask one.
Sorry, can I ask what the is, since it's not agenda, what are you?
It's the same